My driveway was suddenly blocked by Karen, the ruthless HOA president who abused her power without any warning or justification. Her obsession with control and fabricated complaints sparked outrage across the neighborhood. But when I fought back by digging a moat and installing a drawbridge, everything changed in the most unexpected way. Just wait until you hear how this daring move turned the tide and justice finally prevailed. For as long as I could remember, I had believed my neighborhood was a peaceful and friendly place, the kind of neighborhood where people greeted each other with a smile, where kids played safely in the yards, and where neighbors respected one another's space without unnecessary drama. That sense of calm made me feel at home, a refuge from the hectic pace of the outside world. But everything changed on an ordinary morning, the kind that begins like any other. I stepped outside, coffee cup in hand, ready to leave for work, only to freeze in disbelief. Right there, blocking my driveway completely, was a towering metal fence. It wasn't some temporary barrier or a sign warning about construction. It was a full-on blockade. My car was trapped behind it, helpless and immobile. And standing beside that fence, with a smug look I hadn't seen before, was Karen, the president of our homeowners association, the person who was supposed to keep things fair and orderly in the community. Instead, she had taken it upon herself to act like a judge and jury, deciding to block my driveway without any warning or explanation. When I asked her why, Karen coldly told me I had illegally parked and violated HOA rules. But here's the thing. I never received a single warning, notice, or even a polite request to move my car. No emails, no flyers, no phone calls, nothing. It felt like I had been blindsided, punished out of the blue by someone wielding authority as if it were a weapon. The shock of that moment hit me like a punch to the gut. I couldn't believe that such an injustice was unfolding in what I had always thought was a fair and respectful community. The realization that Karen could impose her will without any accountability left me stunned and unsettled. How had it come to this? How could someone so trusted turn around and do something so blatantly unfair? As I stood there staring at the fence and the woman who put it there, a heavy weight settled in my chest. This wasn't just about a blocked driveway. It was about losing faith in the place I called home. The calm, quiet neighborhood I loved had suddenly become a battlefield, and I was right in the middle of it. As the days went by, my feelings toward Karen shifted from mere frustration to a deep, burning hatred. At first, I thought she was just a nitpicky neighbor, someone overly concerned with rules and minor details. But soon, it became clear that Karen was far more than that. She wasn't simply enforcing the community guidelines. She was reveling in the control she had over others, using her position to dominate and intimidate anyone who dared to cross her. I started hearing whispers around the neighborhood, rumors that Karen had fabricated complaints from other residents to justify blocking my driveway. What shocked me most was discovering that some of those neighbors were actually out of town when she claimed they had reported me. It was a blatant manipulation, a way to manufacture support for her harsh actions. This obsession Karen had with maintaining her power came from a deeper, more unsettling place. She was terrified of losing her influence and standing in our community, so much so that she was willing to trample on fairness and kindness to keep her grip tight. It was as if her identity depended on being the one in control. When I finally confronted her, hoping for a rational conversation or some kind of understanding, Karen only smirked coldly and said, "Order comes before everything." That phrase still haunts me. Behind her calm exterior lay a ruthless ambition, and the hypocrisy was unbearable. To her, the rules were a tool to wield, not a code to uphold. Her cruel smile sent a chill through me, igniting a fury I hadn't felt before. How could someone entrusted with responsibility abuse it so flagrantly and get away with it? The injustice was suffocating, and it fueled my resolve like wildfire. I knew I couldn't just stand by and accept this. This wasn't about a driveway anymore. It was about fighting back against a tyranny masquerading as order. Instead of resigning myself to being a powerless victim, I let my anger fuel a fierce determination to fight back. The injustice and manipulation I'd endured had lit a fire deep inside me, a fire that wouldn't be easily extinguished. I refused to let Karen's heavy-handed control define my life or my home. Then an idea struck me, bold, unconventional, and maybe even a little crazy. What if I literally dug a moat around my property and installed a drawbridge to replace the metal fence Karen had thrown up? It was more than just a way to reclaim my driveway. It was a symbolic stand, a direct challenge to her reign of tyranny. I knew it wouldn't be simple. There were permits to apply for, rules to navigate, and skeptical neighbors to convince. But I wasn't alone. As word spread, others in the community who had grown weary of Karen's antics began to lend their support. They saw what I saw, a woman abusing her position, and a neighborhood that deserved better. Day after day, I grabbed my shovel and got to work, digging with purpose. Each shovelful of dirt was a release of the frustration I'd bottled up, a physical manifestation of my refusal to be pushed around. The task was grueling. The sweat and aching muscles, a small price to pay for reclaiming my freedom. This wasn't just about property lines anymore. It was a battle for respect, dignity, and justice. With every inch of earth I moved, my anger transformed into strength and resilience. Karen's fence had been meant to trap me, but my moat and drawbridge were my declaration. I was not backing down. This was war, and I was ready to win it. When the drawbridge was finally in place, the balance of power in the neighborhood began to shift. Karen's iron grip started to slip, her influence waning in the face of something she couldn't control or manipulate. She tried to interfere, sending complaints and threats, but with every necessary permit and approval securely in hand, there was nothing she could do to stop me. My driveway was free again, not just physically, but symbolically as well. What made this victory even sweeter was the way my neighbors responded. Slowly, they began to see the truth that had been hiding behind Karen's polished smile and authoritative tone. Her reign was not about keeping order or protecting the community. It was built on lies, intimidation, and a hunger for control. The HOA, once her staunch ally, had no choice but to back down and drop their claims, recognizing that her actions were unjust and baseless. That moment of triumph, went beyond the practical freedom to come and go as I pleased. It stirred something much deeper inside me. A profound sense of justice served and dignity restored. Karen had finally learned that wielding power like a weapon against neighbors wasn't without consequences. This wasn't just about a driveway anymore. It was about standing up to injustice and refusing to be silenced or oppressed. It was about reclaiming my space, my rights, and my voice in a community where everyone deserves to be heard and respected. In the end, I emerged stronger, more confident, and with a renewed belief that no one is above the rules. Not even a self-appointed queen of the neighborhood. And perhaps, just maybe, the neighborhood itself became a little freer because of it.